So, Arsenal versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Big Champions League clash. Everyone's wondering, can Shakhtar pull off an upset? We're going to dig deep into the tactics and see if they've got a shot.
And it's going to be a good one. We're talking formations, those key players who could change the game, even some stats that might surprise you.
Arsenal's formation has been a hot topic. It's like, are they a 4-3-3 or a 3-2-5? What's the deal?
Arteta's all about flexibility, seamlessly switching between those formations, and it's designed to keep Shakhtar guessing, create those overloads.
I bet it's like watching a well-oiled machine, players moving all over. What's the thinking there?
So it starts from the back, building up. You might see a 4-2-4, maybe even a 3-4-4 at times. Goalkeeper, Neto or Raya, they're like an extra outfield player. Short passes to Saliba, Kiwior. Then you've got White, Zinchenko, almost like midfielders sometimes, tucking in, spreading wide. It's all about that numerical advantage.
Wow, using every inch of the pitch. Okay, but let's talk Ødegaard and Saka, those injuries. How big of a blow is that for Arsenal?
Yeah, no doubt losing players like that is always tough. But this is where Arsenal's depth comes in. Real test for Arteta tactically.
So they've got backups ready, but how does it change things?
Jorginho, Rice, they're going to be huge in midfield. But it goes beyond just slotting someone in. Gabriel Jesus, for example, his role becomes even more important.
Right, he's known as a striker, but you're saying there's more to it.
Oh, absolutely. Watch him. He doesn't just stay up top, drops deep, almost like a midfielder at times. Crucial against a team like Shakhtar.
Because if Shakhtar focuses on him too much.
Exactly. Suddenly, Trossard, maybe Sterling, they've got space on the wings.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Like a domino effect. One move changes everything.
And don't forget those youngsters on the bench, Maneri, Arteta's got options. But let's talk Shakhtar. They're not just going to roll over. New manager, Marino Pusic, they've shifted things up.
Not the same old Shakhtar then. What's changed?
Less of that tiki-taka, more about discipline, hitting you on the counter under Pusic.
Biding their time, waiting for the right moment to strike.
Perfect analogy. You might see a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, but the focus is organization, efficiency. They'll punish Arsenal's mistakes, and they've got the players to do it.
All right, let's talk about those players. Who should we be watching for?
Well, Rakitsky, he's their rock at the back. The leader.
The heart of that defense.
Exactly. But he's not just about defending. His distribution, those passes out from the back, crucial against Arsenal's high press. And then Stepanenko in midfield.
Heard of him. Bit of a hard man.
Oh, yeah, the enforcer. Yeah. He's going to try to disrupt Arsenal's flow, make life difficult for those midfielders.
And an attack. Who's going to cause problems for Arsenal?
Keep an eye on Sudakov. He's the creative spark in that final third, looking for those gaps between the lines, especially if Arsenal gets caught pushing forward. That midfield battle, that could be the decider.
Oh, for sure. Like a chess match, every move matters.
Yeah.
Who do you like in that one?
Well, you've got Rice, maybe Marino for Arsenal, guys who can really control the pace. But Stepanenko, he's all about that fight, making every touch difficult.
Talk about a clash of styles. But it's not just the midfield, right? Those individual battles, they can swing a game too.
Absolutely. Gabriel Jesus up against Rakitsky, that's what I'm watching. Can Jesus use that movement, his link-up play, to get the better of that veteran?
Experience versus youth and that creativity. Who you got?
Rakitsky's seen it all, reads the game so well, but Jesus, he's a handful with those runs. Could go either way.
Okay, that's a good one. Another one, Sudakov versus Jorginho.
Ooh, yeah. If Jorginho pushes up too far, Sudakov, he can thread a pass, create something out of nothing. Real test of discipline there for both of them.
Like a game of cat and mouse. One wrong step and boom. Okay, let's talk set pieces. People don't always focus on them, but they can be huge now.
Massive. Especially in a tight game like this one could be.
And both teams, they've got some danger men there.
Exactly. Arsenal's got Saliba, Kiwior, dangerous in the air, and for Shakhtar, Rakitsky, never count him out on set pieces.
It's crazy, right? You can dominate possession, but one corner, one free kick changes everything.
That's football for you. Unpredictable.
Speaking of unpredictable, Arsenal coming off that loss to Bournemouth. Got to be a little concerning for their fans.
Surprising result for sure, but Arteta said it himself. 2 big errors. That red card for Saliba changed the game.
So not necessarily a sign of bigger problems.
Right. And here's the thing. Arsenal at home. In the Champions League, they're a different animal.
Home advantage, something special.
They haven't lost in their last 9 group stage matches at home. 8 wins, clean sheets in most of those.
Okay, those are some stats. So forget Bournemouth. Their home form is scary good.
Exactly. And get this, 8 of their last 10 Champions League home games, they've scored at least 2 goals.
Wow, that's dominance. Shakhtar's got their work cut out for them.
No doubt. They'll need to be defensively sound. Now, Arsenal might be favorites, but don't write off Shakhtar causing an upset.
They're not here to just make up the numbers. They've got their own plans.
Pusic has them organized. They'll be tough to break down. They'll want to frustrate Arsenal, hit them on the break, and they've got the players to do some damage.
Like we said, Sudikov, if he gets space, he can make things happen.
Absolutely. He can unlock a defense with his passing.
So this isn't a done deal, not by a long shot.
Not at all. It's easy to look at Arsenal at home and think it's easy, but Shakhtar can make it a very tough night for them.
Let's talk about a couple of players that might be under the radar. For Arsenal, what about Martinelli?
He's an interesting one. Pace can beat a man, but, get this, in Europe, he comes alive in the first half.
Really?
All 5 of his European goals for Arsenal, first half.
Wow, front-loaded.
Yeah.
So if I'm Shakhtar, I'm watching him closely early on. Now, you mentioned players that could hurt Arsenal. Besides the obvious ones, anyone we should watch for?
This one's a bit out there, but Zubkov.
Okay, not the first name that comes to mind. Why Zubkov?
Well, I was looking at some stats, and get this, all 3 of his goals this season. Games where Shakhtar scored 5.
Oh, wait, seriously?
Yep. Maybe it's a coincidence, but still, something to think about. If Shakhtar puts 5 past Arsenal, you know who to thank.
I can see the headlines now. Zubkov, 5-star performance, sinks Arsenal.
Right. Funny how those little things pop up.
That's why we love this game. Now, Arsenal, that loss to Bournemouth, does that mess with them mentally, you think?
Could go either way, right? Knocks their confidence, or, and I think this is more likely, lights a fire. They'll want to prove a point.
Extra motivation.
Exactly. Show everyone that Bournemouth was just a blip.
Okay, big picture for a sec. Shakhtar, good history in Europe, but this season, not their best, right?
They're in a transition phase, new manager, still figuring things out.
Finding their way.
Yeah, I'd say so. They're unbeaten in their last 5 domestic games, but haven't won in their last 7 Champions League trips to England.
So going to the Emirates, that's a tough task.
It is, but that's the beauty of the Champions League. Form, history, sometimes it goes out the window.
Every match, a new story.
Exactly.
I always hear that, right? That's why they play the game. Anything can happen.
100%. And sometimes it's those crazy moments that make football so great, you know? Not always about perfect tactics. Sometimes it's a moment of magic, a lucky bounce that changes everything.
Those times where you're just like, no way did that just happen.
Exactly. You can analyze all you want, but sometimes football has other plans.
The beauty of it, right? Unscripted. So for anyone listening, maybe they're thinking, okay, lots of tactics, but why should I care? What would you say?
I'll tell you why. When you get those tactics, the matchups, the strengths, weaknesses, it adds a whole other level to watching the game. Like, you're not just watching a magic trick anymore, you're starting to see how it works.
You see those runs, those passes, those substitutions coming before they happen.
Exactly. You're not just a fan. You're an expert picking up on all those little things.
Like that insider knowledge feeling? You're in the know.
You got it. You see those adjustments, things most people wouldn't even notice.
Impressing your friends with your football knowledge. So wrapping up this deep dive, any last bits of wisdom for our listeners before Arsenal Shakhtar?
Remember what we talked about, those key players, those tactics. But most importantly, just enjoy the match. Soak it all in, the excitement, the tension. That's what Champions League nights are about.
Because you never know, we might see an upset, the underdog coming out on top.
That's right. Just relax and let it all unfold.
And hey, if you find yourself calling those substitutions, predicting a Zubkov 5-goal haul, well, you heard it here first on the Deep Dive.
100%.
Until next time, enjoy the beauty.